right, we're on page 14, volunteers as ministry partners. I want to reflect back to those two statistics I gave you earlier from the Fidelity study, which is the third study cited under research. Volunteers give 10 times more than non-volunteers. And in bold underneath that, 44% of those surveyed said that if an organization cannot take advantage of their skills that they volunteer to the organization, they will volunteer elsewhere. So you got to tie those two things together. If I volunteer, I give. If you don't help me volunteer, I'm going somewhere else. We all need to spend money facilitating volunteerism. We need to have a volunteer coordinator. We need to find ways to train, organize, plan, control, lead volunteers so that they have that sense of connectedness and ownership in the organization. And if you don't, they will leave. We know that. Good example is comparing these two churches that were right across the street from each other. As I had this wonderful accidental opportunity to serve one of these churches, and I studied them statistically. And you can see their annual giving as a percentage of household income was 3 times higher in the church that had a higher level of volunteerism. The average number of hours per volunteer in the Assembly of God Church was 5 hours per month. In the Catholic Church across the street, it was 2 hours per month. If you look at the study of volunteerism, and you see there's a direct correlation. We can even break it down by denomination. In the book Money Matters, Personal Giving in American Churches, they break it down by denomination. And there is a correlation between hours per month spent and dollars offered to that church. So if this was the one thing you knew in this workshop, what would you do? You'd go home and find a lot of ways to get people to volunteer in your church. Now, let's identify some ways we can do this in your church. The number one activity should be some ministry fair where you present all the opportunities for volunteering. There should be a publication informing people of what's possible. There should be a time and talent survey where you can identify those. Someone needs to keep track of all the volunteers and distribute them outward to the different ministries. There needs to be a central point. Dan talked about his publication where they're going to write articles about their heroes. Hero worship and volunteers is a great thing. They're easy to find, and you have them in your church. A monthly article or an annual event, an annual thank you dinner where we recognize greatness among our volunteers, does a lot to create the culture of stewardship. So we celebrate people who are great at volunteering. This communicates a value. A publication listing all ministries, an annual ministry time and talent sign-up opportunity, a staff person who manages a database of volunteers, a class on discerning spiritual gifts, a survey identifying what people want to volunteer for, annual training for volunteers, specific training for each volunteer ministry area, one Sunday to commission volunteers. I really like this idea. I can't remember which book this came from. But the idea of commissioning volunteers, where one Sunday per year, right after the ministry fair, the pastor asked all these volunteers in this ministry to stand up and he asked everybody to pray for them. We commission you to go forth and be a success in there. And he'd ask the next group of volunteers to stand up. We commission you to go forth and be a success. We had most of the church standing up and sitting down. And everybody got prayed for. And if you weren't one of those volunteers, by the end of it, you felt like, good golly, everybody has stood up here but me. And that's a good thing to know. You want to let people know we have a culture of volunteering. We give our time. The commissioning idea is just a super idea. A database in which you manage your volunteers, absolutely critical. Takes time, takes money, but boy, does it have an impact. A lot of people get mad when they volunteer and nothing happens. Your database and a central person coordinating.
Do you have a recommendation in terms of a database?
Do I have a recommendation in terms of database? E-Tapestry is my favorite. It's good for both volunteers, ministry, and giving. That's big criteria. And then the second criteria I really like is that it is web-based and it is not a software product that you buy and own. so you rent it. But the good thing is it never, ever crashes, and it always gets improved. It's not located on-site. You log in like you're going to yahoo.com. You log in and all your records exist out there in cyberspace. So it's kind of nice. It never, ever breaks down. And it's really, really, well, it's not very expensive either. Okay, what can we do in your church to facilitate volunteerism?
We've started doing a daily reflection on the readings of the day, about a 100-word reflection. We've got the monks doing it, but we've also got what we call oblates for people, lay people that are connected with the Abbey participating in that. So every day we put a new reflection up, a little spiritual reflection on it, just a real personal reflection that, on our website. So every day when you go back to the website, on the front of the website, there's a little daily reflection. And so we've got volunteers doing that, along with the monks. So they're both interactive.
That's a great, there's 365 volunteers right there.
Well, no, it's not 365.
No, but other people, I mean, you know, like let's look at Church of the Resurrection where we got
Yeah, you could get
15,000 members, you can get 365
Yeah, a
volunteers.
parish could get a lot more than we are able to get.
All right, let's say you're in a parish, you only got 52 volunteers, you get one a week.
And we do it every day. So
That's a great idea, yeah. That is a great idea. Other ways you can engage volunteers in your organization?
I just thought of just linking the commissioning and the ministry fair with our annual All Saints celebration. Because the idea for All Saints is that everybody is called to be holy and to serve God, but just to link that liturgical celebration with a volunteer fair and commissioning.
That's a great idea. That's a great idea. Have your volunteer fair right before that. Get them signed up, commission them, send them out. That's a perfect day to do it too. Any other great ideas? All right, we got two left.
I really like, it's called Living Your Strengths, the Clifton Strengths Finder by the Gallup organization. It is more expansive than just like a typical spiritual gifting program, and it really has far-reaching effects and help you in your personal life as well as in your church service life. So Living Your Strengths.
That's great.